Hi everybody, Crystal Clenney here. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen as we talk through the topic that I actually feel like is going to tie all of this together quite well. So let me share that screen. You can see the screen. We got a thumbs up seeing the screen. Okay. Okay, so today I'm going to share with you guys everything this is going to, give us some structure and tie into everything that Abram is talking about here with this one-day movement that I feel so blessed and so grateful for being a part of. And thank you so much, Abram. You're such a kind, generous-hearted, huge hearted soul, bringing your movement into the world. And I feel so gracious to be a part of it in this manner as well. So you were asking me to help support something that will benefit us all in the area of like wonder and beauty and possibility, and creating a pathway to integration for people who might need to even understand what that means when big things happen in our lives. And it can go from anything from what Matthew was discussing with a big intuitive awakening event. I specialize in those kinds of integration moments and really helping people get through those moments, or what Kimberly was talking about with regards to, her journey to come into relationship with why she was doing the things to her body and things like that. So whatever anybody is ever faced with regards to integration or bringing all the parts together, that's what we're going to talk to today. So this pathway to integration really has 6 steps, and it was a culmination of many years of experience, direct experience, relating to other people, supporting other people as they were finding their way through this entire pathway, from not knowing whatever just happened to them in their lives to coming all the way around full circle almost to a new level of themselves, to a new self-image, if you will, and a new taste of what integration really means. So just as a foundational element, integration is to end the segregation of and bring into equal membership in society or in an organization, or even, I dare say, into ourselves. And so when we talk about integration, it's taking all these pieces and making sense of them. And that might go against the landmark thing, meaning making, for those that didn't know that. But let's go ahead and talk through it. So step 1, when something happens so big in your life, you kind of come into this like system halt, kind of shock and denial, a little disbelief, confusion, fear, maybe even groundlessness, and you're walking into that unknown space and you don't really have a basis of reference. And so that's the step 1. I'm going to go through all these steps and kind of just like the information that's shared on the screen as we go through, knowing that of course there's so much more information that can be said and supported, and we only have a little bit of time together here today. So in the system halt phase, that's right when you're faced with what just happened. In step 2, we're really talking about that inner destruction and loss or lost self-identity, where you don't know which ends up really. You're questioning your belief systems, right? Over here, you're questioning reality. You perhaps are having psychological breakdowns, and the conditional learning that has come upon you from the outside is, here's the opportunity that can be destroyed. And I believe Abram was talking about that too, like all these things coming on us or at us, but not from us. And so really getting connected with that level as it relates to the moment that you're in right now in life, losing that self-identity, having that inner destruction seems to be, even as a part of the butterfly that Kimberly was talking about, is a process of emergence. It's a process of integration, and to embrace even that level of inner destruction is okay. And it's natural. It's a part of the process, you guys. Step 3 is a hollowing out. It's a detachment. And the way I think about this and how it's occurred for me directly, and again, I've gone through several pretty powerful, like rock your face off kind of experiences in life. And I also, like Matthew called them, really strong intuitive experiences. That this one time I had the experience of like hollowing out, like carving out my entire body with a melon baller, if you will, those things that you can carve fruit out with, and just hollowing out everything that I thought that I knew I was, and completely detaching from any semblance of definition. And by doing this phase of this hollowing out, it allows for complete melting. It allows for overwhelm to happen. It allows for avoidance. It allows for shut down and disbelief to really be abound and completely through you. And so as you come through step 3 in this pathway, you kind of bust into, I think of the next stillness phase as this like membranous place where you launch yourself into. And in this stillness, this darkness, this Bardo place, this you don't even know what ends up kind of place, you're completely lost and completely not found. And all of that is okay. And all of that is wonderful. And talk about beauty and possibility. That's where it births from, you guys. It births from the stillness. It births from letting go of everything that we just talked about, 1, 2, and 3. And in this birthplace, we come through the other side of it. We come into inner construction. We already let the rest go, right? So you let go in order to get into stillness. And then you emerge from that into step 4 with the inner construction, the emergence phase. In this phase, we're saying that you're curious. We're saying you're developing new meaning. You are discovering, you are reinventing what meanings mean to you. You are reinventing yourself and what's possible, and bringing that through and kind of just like collecting all the pieces that are meaningful. And then we go into step 5. And step 5, we're talking about the system reboot. You guys, it's rebooting your phone, it's rebooting your body, it's rebooting your spirit, it's rebooting your computer. We know what reboot means. It's reframing our self-identity. So you come through that, all the little puzzle pieces, and now you're starting to fit them together. Who am I now? And again, this can apply to anything. It can apply to moving to Hawaii. It can apply to having a fear-death experience when you're almost in a car accident, but you made it and you're like, why did I make it? How'd that happen? What was possible? So you're rebooting into this new reframed self-identified place. And in that, you're reorganizing, you're starting to implement, that's taking action. You're having psychological breakthroughs now instead of breakdowns. You're coming into the belief of new possibilities, of things you never even knew, which then takes us to step 6, which is our new self-image, our integration. So as a part of all of steps 1 through 5, step 6, the new self-image integration of you, you're creating new belief systems. You got all the pieces, you started taking action, now you're forming again. Things that are meaningful for you now, that meet you where you're at now. And your trust is being restored. Trust at many levels, you guys. Trust in yourself, trust in others, trust in higher self, God, spirit, the allness, non-duality, whatever you believe in or whatever you have yet to meet, that trust is restored. You come out the other side in this integrated, you grounded. And one of the key aspects here of this integration piece of step 6 is the very last thing, where we're talking about direct learning. So in step 2, we talked about conditional learning. That's the education, the definitions put upon you. And step 6 says, in direct learning, you just went through something and the wisdom that you are has spoken to you, through you, directly. And now you have a pathway of truth, of direct acceptance, direct knowledge from source, or whatever you want to call it, God, source, spirit, the all, call it anything you want. And in this way, we're really talking about, again, just to make sure you guys know the application, It can be anything. It can be losing a job. It can be discovering your eating disorder. It can be, moving halfway across the world and not knowing why, but you feel called to do it. It can be these near-death, fear-death experiences. It can be when you hear a voice, any of the intuitive pathways, which again is one of my areas of specialty, but it can be anything that causes you to stumble and go around the other side and say, whoa, what just happened inside of that? And so my hope here today is that, kind of like detailing this out, I wish I had something like this when I was 25, because I went through this awakening process when I was 25 and went back to my Southern home and tried to tell all my 20-something-year-old friends of the pure divinity that entered my body through my eyes like a machine gun awakening and filled me with this purity of spirit that I had no language for. And it took me 5 years to integrate that moment because I didn't have a toolkit. I grew up in the South. Jesus is the healer. Like, we didn't know about shamanism or anything like that. And so it's a critical element for me to share this pathway to all that will listen as a part of my high self calling to touch many and to support others in a mentorship role, in a human role, and to help Abram make one day every day, and to give you guys tools and essential skill sets to be able to make that happen. So it's my pleasure to share this with you.